Hi everyone, my name is Witumelo. I am from South Africa. You can find me on TikTok as Boiti, and I'm very excited to be here today. To be honest, life in the UK is so free. Like I feel more free than I probably felt in South Africa because it's a very individualistic society. Everybody's literally just going about doing their own thing. So it feels like you can just do whatever you need to do. They've got really great transport services. So it's so easy to get around the country. It's a much smaller country than South Africa. So in South Africa, for me to travel from Joburg to Cape Town, you kind of need a whole day of travel. While here, to travel from Manchester to London, it's literally just like 2 hours. It's easy to get around the country. So I think it's a very travel driven country. Everybody's always out and about. People are always planning trips, very individualistic. You literally just do whatever you need to do. Nobody bothers you in public. It's very safe as well. So you can do like, I like to travel to cities and spend the day and then come back in the evening. So I don't feel unsafe when I come back in the evening. Like nothing weird would ever happen. So yeah, I think that's just how life is in the UK. Like very free, lots of travel, and very individualistic. You kind of need to know how to fill your own cup because they're not as community based as it would be in South Africa. You need to know how to enjoy your own space. Obviously, you can make friends, but at the end of the day, it's like it's your life. You need to run it and come up with plans for your life to enjoy yourself. Otherwise, you'll be in your flat the whole day, just feeling miserable, and nobody's really gonna care.
So, talking about South Africa, I want to ask you
Yeah.
before we continue with our conversation. You know, many will love to visit South Africa. I want you to say a word, one or two, to anyone who wants to visit South Africa.
Yeah.
What's South Africa like as a country?
South Africa is a very interesting country, I would say. I think I haven't really traveled that much, but having left the country, I can almost attest that we have the friendliest people in the world. It's a very friendly country. So if you had to go to South Africa, you would never feel like you don't know anyone. Like even if you were there on your own, because when you're standing at the taxi rank waiting to go wherever, people will be talking to you. When you go to the mall, people will be talking to you. So I think the biggest thing that's beautiful about our country is that it's very friendly and you feel very welcome. There's always going to be someone around helping you and telling you about whatever it is that you'd be needing at that point in time. So yeah.
Wow, that's great. We all have to go visit South Africa one day. Wow, nice one. So let's continue with our conversation. So why England? Why UK? Because you could have gone to US, Canada, even Ghana. So let me ask you, why UK?
So I think I'd always just had a desire to travel. So those who do follow my channel know that I love K-pop. So the first place that I thought of going to when I was still in university was South Korea. But I just always had a fascination for cultures and traveling. Like you can imagine, South Africa is a rainbow nation, multicultural. So I'd always been exposed to differences and I wanted to see even more. And then the UK happened to be the place where I got an opportunity. I literally was just applying everywhere, and this is where I got a chance. I wasn't very particular about where, like it was either South Korea or just anywhere else. So long as I know I would be safe and I would, engage in culture. And it's like there's always home to go to. Just go. If it's not working, you could just pack and go back home. And then the UK just happened to be the first place where I got a good opportunity, and then I came.
So talking about cultures, I want to ask you, have you had any cultural shock experiences or challenges in the UK?
Oh, I think obviously culture shock, like, and it comes in the tiniest way, and it's often things that people can really tell you in advance. And a simple example I'll give you ties in with my first answer, like friendly people. I got to the UK and then I'm used to talking to people, and it's not the culture here. And it's not that people are not friendly. It's just like people are just a bit more reserved here. Because when you do talk to them, you realize that they're going to be nice, they're going to engage, but they would never take the first step to have a conversation with you. So that small difference of realizing that, oh, I'm not in a space where people are always talking. You can even think of being in a mall. Like when you're in a South African mall, you can hear the jubilancy of people talking and being noisy. While here in the UK, it's probably going to be slightly less noisy because it's just not the culture. So I think it's the culture shock, and it's not going to be in the big things, just the very small things that often cannot be described. You can only see them when you get to the place. I think, yeah, that's probably been the biggest challenge for me.
So what surprised you the most when you entered the UK? Was there anything else that caught you off guard?
I think the weather, to be honest, as much as I knew that's going to be different from South Africa, I just didn't think it's going to be this different. Like I didn't know we could go weeks with gray sky and literally no sun. The sun comes out for like 4 minutes. So I think probably the weather, like just how extreme it actually is, very dull. And I've grown to feel like it also contributes to the mood of the people. It makes sense why South Africans seem to be a bit more friendly than the British people, because you will see that in summer people just have a bit more energy. You can literally feel the shift in energy. So for me, it's the weather. That was the biggest shock for me. I knew it's going to be cold. I came with all my coats, just not this bad, not this extreme. Yeah.
Boyti, talking about the weather, I want us to look at some of the things that normally people don't tell us about UK. Are there things that people don't tell us about UK, or are there things that normally people don't tell us about the UK?
Certainly. I feel like when we move abroad, especially to these Western countries, we have a sense that all our problems are going to be solved. You're going to move to like a mini haven where everything just runs smoothly and is okay. And I like to think of it as you moving to a new place which has new problems. In South Africa, we may have had the problem of, what can I say? Maybe load shedding. We have load shedding in South Africa. They don't have load shedding here. So here you're gonna come and you're gonna experience the problem of a very intense working culture. Like they take working very seriously. You need to be at work at a certain number of hours. People work really long hours here. And you can imagine that with a very unfavorable weather. It's always raining, it's always cold. Like having that resilience to continue even though you feel so exhausted, it's often difficult. You'll still see other problems, like you'll still see homelessness around you the same way you'd probably see it in South Africa. And it's very hard to imagine it because you think, oh, Britain is such a wealthy country, but you still see people sleeping on the street. Like you just realize that it's still another world. Like every world has the goods and has the challenges. You have to, I'll give you a simple example, for instance, like you have to do your own service in the shop. You have to pack your own bags. You have to put your own petrol into your car. While in South Africa, you'd have people that are hired to do those jobs. So I think when you go shopping, it's a bit more comfortable in South Africa. When you go to the petrol station, it's more comfortable. While here in the UK, 3 a.m., if you want to fill in your car, you're all on your own. You have to get there and you have to go out there and put in the petrol yourself. You have to pump your own wheels. So yeah, I think in summary, moving to a different country, you may leave your own problems behind, but you're going to get there and you're going to find new problems. I think every place has challenges of its own.
Every place has challenges of its own.
Yeah.
If in case you just join us, here is Afric TV. My name is Nino. If this is your first time of watching a video on our platform, kindly subscribe to our channel and click or hit on the bell notification icon to always get an update from us whenever we upload a new video. Don't forget to also share this video. Thank you. Boyti, any worst experiences in the UK?
Any worst experience? Yes, I have actually. But I don't even know how to explain it. I've had like really weird encounters in public where I'd be walking and then somebody would just say something really weird. Like probably 2 weeks ago, this one man said a very strange comment to me, like "go home" or something like that. But he was old and he was in a wheelchair, and also it takes a while to register because I'm just like there walking in the street thinking, oh, I'm going to Tesco's. I'm thinking of the bread I'm gonna buy and my eggs, and then this weird man just looks at me and says something like that. So I think that's probably I think I've had like 2 or 3 experiences like that, which has been strange for me because you can imagine coming from South Africa, which is majority African people. Everybody looks like me in a way. So now all of a sudden being in a space where you are the minority and then people can say such things to you, it's very strange. But I wouldn't say it's a thing that happens. I think it's probably a very small percentage. Probably like this man was really old. So probably like because he lived in the olden ages, things are still a certain way for him in his mind. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So has traveling abroad changed your mind and perspective?
100%. 100%. If anything, it's made me love home even more. It's made me appreciate my home country even more and think about how it's important for us to stand up for ourselves in our countries and stand up to our governments and ensure that we have a government that cares about the people and can make things happen. Like be more interested in building our country, because at the end of the day, that's where home is. And I think it probably ties in with the answer I gave you about how going to another place that, like, the UK is considered a developed country compared to South Africa, which is a developing country. So technically, you would think you would be happier in the UK than you were in South Africa because there's a lot more benefits this side. But yes, that's the case. But at the same time, it's like you swap problems, you get new problems. So that's why I feel like wherever you're going to go in the world, you are going to be tolerating some sort of challenges, which for me just says, why not just invest in home and we all focus on fighting for a great government and building our country so that in the next 10 to 20 years, we have a functioning society that doesn't have crime and has, less poverty. And yeah, it's like I've grown to love my country even more. Yeah.
Boite, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you've learned about yourself since moving abroad?
That's a good one because I think moving to a different country, naturally you experience challenges that will then teach you about yourself in terms of how you manage these challenges. So I think I've learned that I am a very resilient person. So coming to the UK, a lot of things are different. How you apply for a place, how customer service works is different from everything that's at home. And nobody is guiding you, as I already said. You literally are just shocked on your own at how people do things. And somehow you just have to catch up and do it, and like get used to how they do apartment applications here versus at home. You kind of just have to get into it. So I think I've learned that I'm a very resilient person. So as much as things become challenging in my space, I still have a way of picking myself up and just continuing with the struggle. Which at the end, once you overcome the challenge, you just feel so grateful that you pushed yourself through it. But I think it's because of resilience that I'm able to do so. And I don't think I would have been able to know how resilient I am if I just stayed in South Africa, a country that I grew up in. I understand the culture. I know how everything works. Yes, I experienced challenges, but I'm never really stretched in that sense. Something as simple as I told you, people wouldn't talk to you at the bus stop. Something as simple as being that person that's constantly making the first move, having conversation with people. I think it really has shown me that I'm a very resilient person. I'm very courageous. I don't shy back from unfamiliarity. I literally step in and try to understand what's going on. And yeah, and I'm grateful for that. Honestly, I think it's good to challenge yourself. You don't know your own limits in a way. Yeah. And that's good because to achieve any goals in life, you need courage, you need resilience. So yeah.
I see. So we are about to end our conversation, but before we end our conversation, I want us to come to Africa, which is South Africa, your home. Like many will have to visit South Africa. What are some of the nice places you will recommend to anyone who wants to visit South Africa?
South Africa is a must go. I'm always telling everyone I meet in the UK because they're always surprised, like, oh, you're from South Africa. I'm like, you need to travel to South Africa. Probably the only disadvantage is it's so long, like 11 hours. I told you people in the UK love to travel, but they like short trips, like 2 hours, 3 hours plane. But I always tell them, you need to go to South Africa. You need to go to Cape Town. You need to go to Cape Town, go drink, go see all the vineyards. You need to go to Sun City. Sun City is in Northwest, and it's a very friendly little town with a lot of fun activities. Like you'll be swimming, you'll be playing games. It's like a little city in a city. So yeah, you need to go to Sun City. You need to go to Durban. Durban has the beach, very nice and warm and very friendly people. You need to go to Joburg because Joburg is like the hub of South Africa. Things are on the go. You get to experience the fast life. It's almost like the equivalent of going to London in the UK. Everywhere else is very slow, but when you want to experience the fast life, you go to London. So yeah, I think those are the places I'd recommend for South Africa. You also need to go to Polokwane. I'm from Polokwane. Polokwane, I feel like there isn't much to do, but we have really kind, friendly people. So we are the Bapedi people, very friendly. People will be greeting you everywhere. You'll feel like everybody knows you, but it's just the culture of Bapedi. We greet everyone that we see and we try to make everyone feel at home. So yeah.
Nice one. So we are almost done with our conversation. Any advice for anyone who wants to travel abroad?
Like life is for the living. If you feel like you have a desire to go somewhere and you get the opportunity to go, pack your bags, go. It's going to be hard because it's different. I like to think of it as like, when you're a toddler, you're sort of learning about the world, you're learning how to walk. So it feels like you're a toddler again, and that's hard. And this time there's no one holding your hand. You're kind of doing it on your own. So just because it's hard, it doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Because in a year's time, you would look at yourself and realize that you are just a bit more resilient. you think a bit more outside the box than you used to. Yeah, and you've challenged yourself. It's always good to challenge yourself and see how you can do in different situations. So yeah, if you want to go abroad, just go. Don't think too much. Go.
Great. So if you want to go abroad, just go. Don't think too much.
Yeah.
Any shout outs to family, friends? You can also add up your social media handles to it if only you want to do so.
So on TikTok, I am Boitee Covers, which is BOITEECOVERS, Boitee Covers. So I do a lot of videos on skits about living in the UK, like the culture differences between South Africa and UK. Very fun skits that I think people would enjoy. You can also follow me on Instagram, still Boitee Covers, BOITEECOVERS. Yeah, so let's connect and let's travel the world. The world is our oyster.